Hello. Welcome to I'm Zephyr's critical review of MiniMax Tinyverse.
What's going on? Alright, today we're taking a look at MiniMax Tinyverse. In other words, MiniMax Tinyverse is on the chopping block today. To start things off for this critical review of MiniMax Miniverse, I just got MiniMax Tinyverse. There we go, that's my point. The name of this game is ridiculous. MiniMax, one word, space, Tinyverse, one word. That just bothers me right out. So, All Blue Inc., a Korean company, made this game. Tinyverse, MiniMax Tinyverse. It's gonna bother me the whole time. Anyways, so this game is a toy box simulator of sorts. You're kind of like playing chess with these characters. The things that really set this game apart for me was the ability to choose your loadout and your blessings throughout the game. So when you load up Tinymax, fucking whatever, if you don't buy the DLC, you don't get everything at once. This game is free to play, which is pretty important to state. So you might be wondering, why am I doing a review? Well, big old blue Inc. reached out to me and they gave me the DLC for free. They gave me a key so that way I could produce this content for you guys today. And with that being said, I went ahead and I played the game for about 6 hours. And it should be stated that I am not a Dota player. I am not an LOL player. Those are not my forte either. A lot of these companies have been giving me keys to games that I've never really been interested in. So take that with what it is. MiniMax is got a terrible name. It can be so much better. But anyways, the basis of this game is that you are Max and you go and you play with the minis in a tiny verse. So I guess there's a play on words there. But anyways, you go into this antique shop in the beginning of the game. There's a cute comic panel opening, which I wish I recorded, but I didn't. And you get to interact with the shopkeeper and get blessings and upgrades for your character. Now, these blessings and things like that tend to just be things around the shop, so you'll just be buying matches and things like that, even though you don't really transaction and buy matches. They're just blessings that you equipped. And each one of these things is pretty balanced in the game, and you're immediately prompted upon entry of the game to choose between, now let's try to read this, Ayla and Kriya. I don't know. Kriya being the bad guys and Ayla being the good guys in theory. But the PvP does not separate you two. If you're Kriya, you can fight other Kriya. If you're Ayla, you can fight other Ayla. It just changes the skin colors of these characters so you can fight. The only real difference is during the daytime periods of the match, the Ayla characters will get bonuses. During the night, the Kriya get bonuses. And it's just kind of a way for the match to move forward, which is pretty important because these matches don't last very long. This being a game available on Steam for the PC, it is also available on mobile. So you can actually pick this up and play it on an iPad, or I believe it's only Apple products at the moment. I couldn't find it on Android. I don't own any Apple products as of right now. So to bear that in mind. Another thing that's pretty important to know, that if you don't buy the DLC, you can microtransaction, but I don't agree with microtransactions. I think that's shady business. Like, if you wanted us to pay $10 for a game, just charge $10 for the game. So that's kind of important. There's a lot of things about this game that I would recommend to people who like RTSs. Now, if you like Dota or LOL, this might be a good game for you to pick up and play on the side, because it does have some variations to those games that you might find interesting. So in MiniMax, you actually don't control any characters whatsoever. You can lift up your hero and move your hero around and direct them to do specific attacks when you want them to. But for the most part, they're just going to do whatever they want. The characters just go from one side of the map to the other, just like the minions in LOL or I don't know what they're called in Dota because I don't play Dota, but your goal is to build up enough rations, which takes time, so that way you can make more troops. And you can have a set of, I believe, 6 troops at a time, different that you select, and then you can bring them out accordingly. Some of them cost less and will have more. Some of them cost more and have a ton of guys, but maybe they're weak. There's a lot of things that you have to factor into your strategy. And that's why I'm calling it the toy box chess game. Because these are like toys, they're like little animated toy characters, Toy Story characters that are just waging a war in this tiny universe that has been lasting centuries, according to the story, which is pretty interesting if you ask me. Each character has their own abilities. One you can pick up and drop, and he'll do a downward strike, inflicting damage to anything that you drop him on. Another one will use a blessing spell to then heal the surrounding characters. So, using your blessings and things like that along the game to drop barriers or to block your own characters from progressing, and then building up a wall of your characters so that way when that wall drops, you have a big wave of enemies or teammates going in at once. Is pretty cool. This game also uses the lane system, so you have your top lane, your secret lane, and then your main lane. These things are in the game for you to kind of discover and use to your advantage. So you might have a pretty overwhelming front lane, and then you might just throw some characters in your top lane. So to get into the art style of this game, I would say it's also pretty low on the basis of high definition graphics, although it does look good and the spells and everything look good. One of the things I did notice that on my Ryzen 7 and my 3200 megahertz of RAM, for whatever reason, this game still has a stutter. Now, I'm wondering if that's like a memory buffer or a CPU buffer or something in the GPU, which is a 1070 Ti. So I don't know what that was all about. Every now and then it would just like freeze and then go. And also, when I was trying to capture the game, a lot of times the game would just freeze. I started playing in borderless windows, and that caused me to click off screen quite frequently. So that's a small problem, especially because this game is stream verified. It has something to do with Twitch that I didn't play with. So if that's something that you're interested in, it is available for you to check out if you're interested in it. Um, Other than that, this game is sadly not all that special. It isn't sandboxy. There's no PvE, there's no story, there's just a PvP system where you can quickly play against other people. But again, like Moss Destruction, if you have a problem or you just can't do it very frequently, that is gaming, this is one of those games that I can recommend. It's got it going on. It's engaging, it's frustrating, it's fun, it makes you question what you're doing. Uh, it's just something that I will find myself coming back to play. My brother, when he was here, was playing this game for a few hours and even put it on his Steam account upon playing off of my account. And he quite enjoyed the game himself and probably will play it on his phone in due time. Um, so, with the conversation of microtransactions, it's pretty important to state that with microtransactions in the game, there is a really big in-game currency, so you don't have to worry too much about that. If you have a problem with that, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to buy anything if you don't want to. The miracles and blessings and everything like that are blocked by your level, so you have to play and win in order to get them anyways. So I'm not 100% positive what the in-game currency is for. It could possibly be for skins and things like that, but I personally have not seen them being used by other players as of yet. Only in one game did I notice that the enemy player had a different hand when he was casting blessings and things like that onto the match. So that might just be a cosmetic thing, which is okay. But with the in-game currency, you will still be able to get different heroes. Now, the in-game currency, the DLC got me all the characters immediately unlocked so I can play with them. So your mileage may vary if you play the FTP version. I'm not 100% positive if you can just level up and save your currency in order to get heroes. I would think you can. They don't seem to be pushing the microtransactions too heavily. I'm focusing on this because it's something that I'm against. I would have much rather seen this game just for sale for $5 with DLC that was $5. That DLC being that you unlocked all the characters right out of the gate instead of having to unlock them by playing, which would still be considered a microtransaction because you're not actually gaining new content. But the Two Realms pack may contain more things. I should have played more of the FTP or played the FTP in order to gain a good understanding of what I was getting into with the Two Realms pack. Now, coming back to the champion system, from what I've played, the champions seem to be extremely balanced. Each one has their own particular set of abilities that you can initiate in order to inflict damage or healing upon yourself, with the archer being able to freeze enemies and allow you to get a whole bunch of enemies moved in while you've frozen a really strong target and gotten a lot of damage off. Along with freezing a target, you can also put a different blessing on them. Now, some of the blessings have like delays, so you'll click and you have to wait a few seconds, so you have to like time it correctly and figure out where the AI pathing is. So there's a lot of like chess moves involved where you have to be quick-witted and you have to make sure your attacks are going to land where you want them to land. Otherwise, you could just be wasting your mana or your rations very rapidly. There has been countless times where I've sent out large groups of weaker enemies, and a single lightning strike, which is a very low mana cost attack, wipes out my entire archery team. So you have to play with some level of intelligence in order to make your way to the top of MiniMax. Coming back to the map, and what makes this game different is you're altering the map conditions. So you always have two blessings where you can set down a ramp and make a crayon wall. And these two things really turn the tide of the game. So if you put down a crayon wall, the enemies can't move through it for a certain period of time, or they have to attack it. If you put down a ramp, you're able to go up to a higher level or go to a lower level of terrain from your current terrain level. These are both extremely useful. And I'm just going to let you guys know that the mole that spawns on the north and the south side of the map are the secret paths. What you want to do is drop a meteor or a lightning strike or something along those lines on the mole to get rid of them, and then your characters can progress to that secret area. I've used this very many times for secret backdoors in order to do more damage to my enemy. So with it all done and said, I'm going to wrap it up here for my critical review of MiniMax. Now, I do recommend the FTP. I really do recommend that you guys take a look at the FTP, give it a shot, especially if you're looking for a good on-the-go game. I feel that this game would be quite a lot of fun to just play with your friends even. Is just a quick, easy, just fight it out for a few minutes while maybe you're waiting for a friend to get into Discord or something along those lines. This game is something that can kill time. Do I think it's feasible to be playing this on a PC versus a Apple or something along those lines? Yes and no. It doesn't feel like a mobile game as you play it, but at the same time, I feel like LOL could be easily ported to a phone and played on a cell phone. It doesn't seem to me to be like an overly complicated game. I understand there's a lot of strategy to it, and there's a lot of tense game moments and things like that that go on in LOL and Dota, but the games just aren't demanding enough to really just be on one platform. So it's kind of nice to have MiniMax available for a portable iPad experience. And with that alone, I think that this game becomes more respectable. I'm not huge on advocating mobile games. I think the more we cross mobile and PC, the better. The more we step away from this mobile gaming sucks scene is really important. And I feel like this is one of those games that is taking that step, and they're saying we can produce fully fledged good games on mobile and you can experience them on other platforms, and there's nothing you can say about it, because at the end of the day, there's going to be a large community of people playing on PC and there's going to be a large community of people playing on the mobile platform, and if they're equal and you can play against each other, and you can't tell that you're playing against each other. That's really important. Just like Pokemon TCG, it's another game that you can play on the phone or you can play on the computer. Hearthstone, Elder Scrolls Legends, Blades. There's all kinds of games where you don't even know if that person's playing on a mobile device as you're playing with them. So keep that in mind going into this. As for the DLC, um, I would. The thing is I don't even consider this DLC. It's a microtransaction. They pretty much gave me free microtransaction, and that's okay. They want people to play their games, and they want to give people their heroes very easily, so people don't have to grind them out. That's okay. There's not really a benefit to buying the DLC versus just grinding out what hero you're going to use. Uh, but if you're like me and you're going to play with all the heroes and you're going to want to mess around with all of them, it's a good opportunity to just have a few hours dedicated to this. Now, few hours, I mean like 40 plus hours, because this game has got a lot going on. And you're going to unlock more and you're going to want to do more. So, with that, yeah, I recommend the game. So, let me know down below. Will you be downloading MiniMax? Is the name stupid? Yes. Um, yeah, just if you like this content, give me a subscribe, a like, dislike it if you disliked it, and leave a comment. Letting me know what you guys think. If you're going to be playing this game, do you think I'm wrong with my mobile perception? Do you think that mobile games aren't going to ever be even relatively close to what a PC can do? Um, it's just what I think. So I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you for watching. You can find more on MiniMax Tinyverse down below, a Steam link, Apple link, and much more below to check out. In the description. I'm a robot, I know I should have said it first. For fun's sake.